Well, it's finally the video you've all been waiting for. The answer to your question. Dude, how many guitars do you have? 37.
37.
Yes, 37. In a row. I also have 12 basses and 1 acoustic guitar, and in this video, I'm going to be showing off my entire collection. So I'm the Tatted Bald Guy. Welcome to my channel. Like all my videos, timestamps are listed in the description below, so feel free to skip around. I'm going to be showing off this video by brand. And the first brand up is Jackson. I have 7 Jackson guitars, and here's the first 2. The Jackson Dinky. I forget the special little name this one has, but this is the upgraded version of this. Both from the JS line, which is their most affordable line of guitars. Next up is probably my favorite shape guitar of all time, the Jackson Warrior. I have the Jackson Warrior from the JS series right over here, and I liked it so much, I bought the upgraded X series Jackson Warrior right here. This X series guitar is one of my favorite, and one that I reach for more often than the others in my entire collection. Here we have the Jackson Rhodes V, made famous by the legendary Randy Rhoads. Different than the King V, it has the longer fin on the top. This guitar is from the JS line, which again is one of their most affordable lines. Next up is the newest addition to my collection, the X Series Jackson Kelly, with my favorite colors, black and red. I'm going to put some new pickups in this one, and I can't wait to add it to the rotation. And my last guitar from Jackson is my 1996 made in Japan Jackson King V Professional. This guitar sounds killer. The next brand is BC Rich, which is probably my second favorite, or maybe even tied for first when it comes to favorite shapes of guitars. This first one is a Platinum Series Warlock. I tuned this down to drop A, and it sounds brutal. The next up is my BC Rich Avenge, also known as the Son of the Beast, because it's a slightly smaller version than the BC Rich Beast. Again, the black and red, because those are my favorite colors. And right here, we have the full-size BC Rich Beast. This is from the NJ series, and one of my favorites in my collection. And the last BC Rich in my collection is my BC Rich Revenge Bass. This thing looks more like medieval weaponry than it does an instrument, but I absolutely love it. Can't believe I almost forgot this one. I barely play it, and it sits on the wall. It's the entry-level model of the Kerry King V. I got it in the early 2000s. It didn't sound all that great, barely kept its tune, but I put an EMG pickup in there, hoping it would make it sound better. Because this thing barely kept its tune, I don't play it often, and it's a good wall piece. The next brand up in the collection is Ibanez, starting off with the red and black Ibanez Geo. The Ibanez Geo is one of Ibanez's most affordable guitar lines. Next up is one of my favorites, the Ibanez RG470MB. I absolutely love this color. It sounds amazing as it looks. And the last guitar in my Ibanez collection is the Ibanez RG from the 2006 NAMM show. It was never listed on their actual website, and you could only get it if you went to the show. I didn't go to the show, but I got it off Facebook Marketplace. Look at the Grim Reaper inlay. The next brand is Schecter. Here we have the Omen Extreme, and this Omen Extreme is from the Diamond series. And also from the Diamond series is my Damien Platinum Plus. This guitar is sleek, comes with EMGs, and sounds absolutely brutal. The next brand of guitar is LTD by ESP. This is their Eclipse model guitar, the EC256. It's one of my favorites, and it plays beautifully. If you're looking for a quality guitar, LTD is a great place to start. The next LTD in my collection is the rare Slayer Jeff Hanneman South of Heaven guitar. There are only about 2,000 of these made, and it is definitely one of the crown jewels in my collection. It sounds badass, but I don't play it often because of its value. And the last LTD in my collection is my Kirk Hammett White Zombie guitar. I believe it's the KHWZ. It comes with his signature EMG pickups, and this is an absolute beast of a guitar, complete with the Bela Lugosi White Zombie graphic. I absolutely love this guitar. The next brand of guitar is Washburn. I only have one of these, and I picked it up maybe the weekend after Dimebag passed away. I knew they wouldn't be making much Washburns anymore because he had switched back over to Dean. It's only an entry-level model, and part of the veneer is coming off, but you know what? It's a great wall piece, and a tribute to one of the greatest guitar players to ever pick up an axe. The next guitar is from the brand Phantom. In the 80s, there are a few guitar brands making quality copies of better-known guitars. This is a direct ripoff of the BC Rich bitch shape. However, this isn't just a cheap copy. It came with DiMarzio pickups, neck-through construction, and Grover tuners. If you ever want to go down the rabbit hole and learn all about it, try and look up Phantom Guitars. You'll know you found the right one because of the ghost on the logo. These next few brands of guitars are considered budget-friendly brands. If you don't know anything about budget-friendly guitars, they've made quite a splash in the last few years. The reason? Technology has improved so much that you're able to get a quality-made guitar for a real cheap price. What you can get for $200 today far exceeds anything you could have bought for $200 20 years ago. So the first brand up is Leo Jaymz. Here we have the Leo Jaymz single-cut LP style guitar complete with the skull graphic. This guitar sounds great, and it's one of my better sounding LP shaped guitars. Next up from Leo Jaymz is the Leo Jaymz Tempest. This guitar just screams 80s shred guitar. I absolutely love the aesthetic and the way it feels. However, I'm not a huge fan of the way it sounds. This is definitely due for a pickup upgrade in the future. This guitar is the Leo Jaymz Tempest Deluxe, also known as the Death Speaker, because of the paint job. It's $100 more than the previous Tempest, but you can definitely tell the quality upgrade in the deluxe version. The next guitar brand is Westcreek. This is the Westcreek Cerberus V guitar. Killer paint job, and it sounds killer as well. This is probably the best budget sounding V you can get for under $250. It's even got the reverse headstock. Also from Westcreek Guitars is their Westcreek Revenge. This is a solid Explorer type guitar that won't break the bank. The color looks great, and with a neck-through construction, Westcreek Guitars are definitely worth checking out. You can find them on Amazon. The next brand in the budget guitar category is probably the most well-known, Harley Benton. The first up is the infamous Harley Benton Victory SBKV. Infamous for its terrible noise due to its grounding issues. It was a relatively easy fix, but you need to know your way around guitars. If you're absolutely in love with the aesthetic, there's videos on YouTube showing you how to fix the problem. Next up is the Harley Benton EX84, complete with EMG pickups, neck-through construction. This one is an amazing guitar. It definitely gives off that 1988 James Hetfield Explorer vibe. And considering Injustice for All is one of my favorite Metallic albums, I just had to add this to the collection. Next up is the Harley Benton Baritone guitar. With that 40-inch neck, the extra scale makes dropping to lower tunings that much better sounding. If you're interested in getting a baritone guitar, Harley Benton is definitely worth looking into. These were back ordered for quite a while because they're so popular. Out of all my Harley Bentons, I probably grabbed this one the most. And the last Harley Benton in the collection is my Harley Benton PJ SBK bass. This guitar looks great, plays great, and it didn't break the budget. If you're thinking about picking up an inexpensive PJ style bass, this one might be worth a look. The next budget brand is Donner. This one is the #1 ranked selling guitar on all of Amazon. This is the DMT 100. I didn't really get a super heavy tone out of this, more of a Deftones type of sound, which I actually really liked. I really love the look of this guitar, but as far as budget brands are concerned, there are a few other brands that I think come out on top when compared to Donner. The next brand in my collection is the Glarry, probably the most affordable guitars of all the budget brand guitars. This guitar was sub $100. As far as beginner guitars go, it actually plays pretty well. And as far as the aesthetic, I'm a big fan of skulls. The next budget branded guitar is definitely my favorite. I'm talking about Firefly guitars. Starting off with the 40-inch baritone guitar. This is the Salt from the Salt and Pepper duo of baritone guitars that I own. This one being the Salt, and of course the black Harley Benton baritone guitar is the Pepper. They're both 40-inch Jazzmaster copies that sound absolutely ridiculous. I love this guitar, and when I'm jamming and drop tunings, I grab this one often. The next guitar is Firefly's take on the single cut LP style guitar. This is the FF LP. There's two versions on the Guitars Garden website, Classic and Elite. This is the classic version, and it came out first. This is the FFLP Elite with some better specs. The prices are relatively the same, but Firefly has done a great job of upgrading the specs in their guitars. Here we have Firefly's copy of the PRS. This guitar looks as smooth as it sounds. It also plays really well. Next up is Firefly's take on the Explorer model guitar, the FFLX, again with the black and red. Another one from Firefly is the Firefly SG. This is one of the classic versions, but it sounds great. One of my first from Firefly. This last guitar from Firefly is a take on the Telecaster shape, and it is my favorite. All the specs have been upgraded to the max without changing the price of the guitar. You have rounded bowl end stainless steel frets, a roasted maple neck, a bone nut, locking tuners. This guitar is absolutely phenomenal, and for $169, in my opinion, this guitar puts Firefly at the top of the list of budget brand of guitars. It's also a baritone guitar, so if you're wondering if a Telecaster can play metal, you bet it can. I even have a YouTube short that shows just how brutal these tones can get coming out of a Telecaster. Before I jump into my basses, here's my acoustic guitar. This Yamaha acoustic is the perfect blend of a quality guitar and a friendly budget price. I was looking for a decent sounding quality acoustic guitar that held its tune. My buddy Carmine recommended I check out Yamaha, and once I did, I never looked back. Sure, it's not as quality as, say, a Martin guitar, but for my needs, this thing does everything I need it to do, and stays in tune while doing it. So moving on to the basses, we have Squier by Fender. The first up is my Bronco bass. I think Squier wanted to throw their hat in the mix when it comes to budget guitars, so they released this $200 made in Indonesia bass. And I gotta tell you, for what it is, it sounds amazing. It plays super fast, and I actually grabbed this bass for a lot of quick recordings. It's definitely a really great workhorse. The next up is my Fender Squier Jazz bass. It's a 5-string and weighs as much as a metric ton. This bass has a smooth, fat sound, and definitely an excellent addition to my collection. The next brand is from Ola England's Solar Guitars. When you're thinking metal bass tone, Solar packs the punch that you need. I'm very pleased with this bass, and will certainly be buying more from Solar in the future. The next brand of bass guitar is hands down my favorite. This is Warwick. I tried a lot of different brands of bass guitars back in the day, but when I tried Warwick, I decided that was the brand for me. The sound and playability of Warwick is second to none. This Warwick Corvette is one of my favorites in the collection. This next Warwick Corvette has seen the most use out of all my basses. When I was in a band back in the day, this is what I played on stage. Full of battle scars, sweat, and blood, this bass is now retired. I don't play it much anymore. This thing would need a serious cleaning and setup to get back into playing shape. I played really aggressive music back in the day, and this bass took an absolute beating. I love the sound of the Warwick Corvette so much that when I was looking for a 5-string, it was an easy choice where to go. I love the sleek all-black look, and it sounds absolutely killer. This next bass guitar is the Warwick Corvette Double Buck. It had a drastically different sound than the passive pickups in the other Warwick basses. Adding this to the arsenal gave me a whole new range of tones. And last but not least, certainly one of my favorite basses, the Warwick Vampire. It has a longer scale neck, so this particular model is called the Dark Lord. This is one of the most metal looking basses that I own, and the sound matches the aesthetic. I'm really lucky to have all these instruments. There's not a day that goes by that I don't realize just how lucky I am. I buy about 85% of my instruments used. You can get them for 1/3 of the price of a brand new guitar. And in most cases, you can barely tell that it's been used. I highly recommend websites like Reverb and especially Facebook Marketplace when you're looking to buy used instruments. I even have a safety tips video which you should watch if you're considering buying anything off of Facebook Marketplace. I'll list it in the description below. So that's going to do it for this one. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you like what you saw and you want to see these instruments in action, consider hitting that subscribe button. So I'm the Tatted Bald Guy saying thanks for stopping by, and remember, it doesn't matter the genre, good music makes your head nod. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.